Hello, welcome back. This is Domas. Today, I'm back from work and thought I'll record something quickly for you guys. I picked up a book today and started reading it. It was called The Tao of Wu, and it's about written by RZA, the guy from Wu-Tang Clan, the rapper, the wisdom man. And something stuck with me, and it was to do with an island because he was from Staten Island in New York, and he was talking about being in your own island. That got stuck with me because he said something like, everybody was in New York and everybody said that was the place to be, and in Manhattan. So he was in this island surrounded by water, and he was saying how important that was to be away from all the rush of the city, and made me think like I'm kind of away from the city myself, um, living in the kind of in the forest pretty much. So sometimes it gets lonely, it's true. You kind of miss more people, but in places where there's more people, somehow you feel more alone. Like, even though you have a lot of people around you, you still kind of feel like everything's sort of fake, like the buildings are fake, like it's not natural, to live around buildings upon buildings, in every direction you look at is another wall, And yesterday I did a video about social anxiety, and it was kind of like I was feeling a lot of that when I was living in London, when I was like surrounded by buildings, surrounded by noise. It wasn't doing very good for my mental health, so I had to leave. And I left and came back to my hometown. And I was speaking to my friend today at work about living in the UK and then deciding to go back home, and it's not a decision that everybody makes. Some people like to stay in the big city, or in a bigger city where there's more people. And I think it's kind of like being afraid to be alone, like, because when you're alone, you start to hear voices, and those voices aren't always very like friendly, because I think we leave our children behind, where our inner child is behind, and then they get angry, and then they get like resentful, so you don't want to hear those voices, you don't want to hear the voice of a resentful child, which is you yourself, so you don't want to get away from the noise. You don't want to be still, be quiet, and hear what that voice has to say. Like, I'm like living where it's quiet, where it's chilled, and even I don't want to listen sometimes. I don't want to be in that island. I want to be all by myself. But why? What's the big fear? Because fear of being alone. Well, sometimes it's easier to be alone also, because when you don't have people around, there's nobody to hurt you in a way. So there's also nobody to make you more excited or have more fun, but you can have fun on your own too. Sometimes it's difficult because it feels like, well, what can you do on your own? Is boring. But it's not necessarily boring if you're an artist, if you have a creative mind, if you have anxiety with people. If you have just anxiety in itself, you sometimes it's good to get out of your way and go meet somebody, but sometimes it can get you all up in your head even more, that you want to kind of run away from that. You know, I had a friend who was very still, who was very like, he was super chilled. I was always like really excited around him, but he was always very like content and very like holding it together, you know, and just keeping it together. And even till this day, when I meet him, he's like, he's got this like calmness about him. And I don't know if it's like how he trained himself to be, but I think that baseline, that like inner peace, inner calmness has to be there for in all of us, in order to kind of get back to like that ground zero moment where you just kind of checking in with yourself like more often than not. You know, when you're like, am I okay now? You know, am I is my mind running somewhere? Is my mind like going crazy? Like, am I going crazy right now? Am I doing something that I haven't thought about properly? Am I like rushing? Am I running? Why am I running? You know, where's the rush? You know, because it's like there is no rush. What are you rushing to die? Like, are you rushing to live your life? Sometimes it feels like I am, you know, it feels like I want to get to the end quickly. I want to get to the end as quickly as possible, you know, but the end will come naturally. Yeah, sometimes there's thoughts about death for sure, especially when you're not having the best moment in your life. But days like this, where it's like super chilled, when I get back home and I'm like, okay, now I have 4 days off, so I'm gonna have some time off and enjoy myself, hopefully. Um, but yeah, thank you for showing up for yourself. Thank you for being your true identity, you know. Keep doing that and come back to that island more and more often, more often than not. Like, check yourself in, like my friend, you know, like just kind of like take a step back, see where that takes you. Because I'm afraid to stop. Like, I'm afraid to stop rushing. Like, I always feel like I have to keep doing something. And it's like, I don't have to. Like, nobody's like pushing me, you know? Why do I feel like this? Like, why do I feel like I have to perform continuously? You know, maybe that's what's missing. Maybe the peaceful time is what's missing in order to move on forward. Like, I'm missing some peaceful time. And in order to move forward, I need to find that peace. So hopefully you'll find that peace in yourself in the next couple days. I'm really wishing you well. Wonder how this ties in with stpd, being in an island. I think this is like more of like a mindfulness practice than anything else. And I think that everybody can benefit from that, whether you have um, some disabilities or some disorders. I think just breathing and taking a step back can always be a good way to come back to yourself and experience yourself properly again. Just be in the moment. Just be sure that everything that comes your way, you will be able to face that, and you will be. So be sure to know that. Love you guys. Thank you for being here with me today. Wishing you all the best, and I'm proud of you. Have a great day, morning, evening, or nighttime. And I will see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.